Started. Good morning, Woodland Pond. I'm Deborah, and we're going to do some yoga together. There's one thing I would like you to remember at all times is yoga is not supposed to hurt. So if I suggest anything that's inappropriate for your body, I invite you to skip it. If you have arthritis, injuries, surgeries, or you're just tired, and I suggest something and you don't want to do it, don't do it. Rejoin us when you're ready. Alrighty, so let's start in our favorite starting position. You can sit, you can stand, you can sit in a chair or on the floor. If you're in a chair, move your butt forward so you're not leaning against the back of your chair. Put your feet flat on the floor, hip width apart, looking like the number 11. You do that also if you're standing up. Now, if you're on the floor, you're sitting cross-legged, lotus, half lotus, kneeling. Let's all roll our pelvis forward so we come up onto our sits bones. Pull your abs in and up. Lift your breastbone. Ask your shoulders to go back and down, and then lift the top of your head. Good. Let's close our eyes for a few seconds and take inventory. How are we doing today? How's our breathing? How are our joints? How's our digestion? How's our mood? Then we can open our eyes, extend our hands, palms up, inhale up. And then 2 fountain breaths. Lovely. All right, let's say good morning to one of our shoulders with the largest forward circle we're capable of making. Get those juices flowing and then go backwards. Good. Release that and say good morning to your other shoulder in exactly the same fashion. And reverse it. Good. Release that. Give everything a loosening wiggle. Take a deep breath. All right, let's push away that infernal wall. Spread your hands out wide as they can go. Separate your fingers and really push. Straight elbows. You can feel the effort from the middle of your back. Then make a soft fist, pointed at the floor. Good. Back to that nasty wall. Then index finger to thumb and squeeze. Second, third, and fourth. Backwards, fourth, third, second, and first. Good. Let's release that. And we'll do the piano scales. Every little joint gets an opportunity to stretch and flex. Then palms up and just let your hands gently flop. We're stretching the inside of your wrist in a very gentle way. Good. Release that. Take a deep breath. Let's turn and look over our right shoulder. Come back to center and look over your left shoulder. Good. Come back to center. All righty, let's take our arms up. Bring your hands behind your head, interlace your palms, and push your elbows back. Any amount, hold it and breathe. Whatever you can do is what you can do. Good. Release everything, slump a bit, take a breath. Lift your breastbone, push your elbows backward, whatever you can achieve. Hold it and breathe. Good. Release it. Let everything come down and breathe. Let that little rest period happen. Lift your breastbone, push your elbows backwards, whatever you can do, and breathe. Good. Let's release it. Give everything a loosening up. Take a breath. All righty. So let's do the pushing and pulling. So we're going to take our hands, we're going to put them into the pulling position. Bring your little hooks together. You can either bring your hooks together or you can grip your opposing wrist, whichever makes you happy, and pull. A good sustained effort, breathing all the way. Good, release it. We're going into the pushing position. You can put your hands in prayer position, but your wrists have veto power if they don't like this. Put your two fists together and push. Good, release that. We're going to go back to the pulling posture and pull. Lovely, let that go. Return to the pushing position and push. Lovely, let that go. All right, let's do the cat and cow stretch. So your head comes forward, your belly goes backwards as you exhale down. As you inhale, lift your breastbone, lift your head, look up, exhale down. And continue back and forth at your own pace. And when you've had enough of that, just come back to center, take a breath. Let's stir the pot, pretending that our spine is a wooden spoon and our pelvis is the bowl. Go backwards. All righty then, that's excellent. Let's see, let's do the exaggerated chewing. Everything on your face chews. You open wide, you pucker up, eyes, nose, everything. Open wide. Close up tight. Chew on the left. Chew on the right. Make your chin go a circle. Reverse it. Look up, pull your lower lip over your upper lip. Return to center and relax your face. Take a deep breath. That's very nice. Alrighty, let's do the seated spinal twist. If you're sitting in a chair, there's nothing you have to do right now because your legs are in the correct position. If you're on the floor, stretch your legs out in front of you, right leg over left, left arm to right knee. Everybody sit up straight, pivot to your right, use your hands as you need to keep your spine beautifully vertical, your chest lifted, your abs engaged, and breathing. As we wring out our viscera. If you want to sneak a peek at your left toes to make sure they're still pointed at the ceiling, that's perfectly okay. Let's twist back a little bit deeper. and release it. Come back to center, give everything a little wiggle. If you're on the floor, it's left leg over right, right arm to left knee. Everybody sit up straight and tall, pivot to your left, and breathe. Once again, devote some energy to making sure that your posture is what you want it to be, making any little micro improvements that you can find to make. So now let's twist back a little bit deeper. And release it. Give everything a good loosening up. Take a deep breath. Good. Alrighty, so we're going to do the frog. You can do the frog sitting on the floor. You can do it sitting in a chair. You can do it standing up. If you're going to do it standing up, make sure both feet are on the mat at all times. If you're going to do it in a chair, move forward so that you can really separate your knees wide apart and then rest your hands on your knees. Here, separate your knees. Good. All righty. Let me get mine. There we are. All right. So we want to keep our head and chest up so we have a nice flat back and lean forward. All of the stretch is coming out of our hips. Whenever your hips say, whoa, I don't want to go there, just stop. Breathe encouragement into those big joints. Let them know that everything's okay. Keep breathing. Now, if you're able to get your palms down onto the floor, that's okay, and you can release your head and neck. However, if you can only get your fingers down to the floor, you are safer keeping your hands on your knees. Keep breathing. Feel the big stretch that's happening in your hip joints. We are slowly pulling the tension and stress out of your hips. Now you can stay as long as you wish, of course, but when you're ready to come out of it, simply pick up your head and chest first and come to vertical. Good, let's stand up. When you get there, shake out your legs. Give everything loosening up. Take a breath. Because of course, we're going to do Tadasana next. So we want our feet to be hip width apart, looking like number 11. If you have any doubts about what that means, put your two fists together, put them on the floor between your feet. And of course, if you have serious balance issues, feel free to separate your feet a little wider. All righty, let's sway a little left and right. This helps us direct our attention to the bottom of our feet. Just feel what's going on at the bottom of your feet. Good, come back to center. Now, make sure your weight is evenly distributed across the bottom of your foot and pull yourself up through your legs. If you want, you can tuck your pelvis a tiny amount, pull your abs in and up as you lift your breastbone. Ask your shoulders to go back and down and lift the back of your head. This is the mountain posture. This is what my parents were talking about when they kept telling me to stand up straight. And I had no idea what they were talking about. This automatically makes you look 10 years younger. Unfortunately, gravity is relentless and keeps pulling us forward and down. We have to fight. Let's bring our arms out, interlace your fingers, notice which one's on top, reverse, stretch. Bring your hands behind your back, interlace and lift into chest expansion. Breathe into the stretch in your pectoral muscles. Good, release that. Bring your arms out again. This time, make sure the other finger's on top. Reverse, stretch. Bring your arms behind your back, interlace the weird way and lift. See if you can get your shoulder blades closer together. Excellent. Good. Release your arms, release your legs. Let them know that's over. Take a breath. Okay, last time we did Warrior 2. So obviously today is Warrior 3. And we need our handy dandy chair. All 4 legs have to be on the sticky mat or parked against a wall so that we know that the chair won't slip away from us. Now, you can either do downward facing dog from a standing posture or Warrior 3. This is how it works. With your hands on your chair, you simply walk backwards. You allow your head to come down between your arms, and then you wiggle your feet, and you can get another millimeter or 2 of stretch in your back. Now, this is downward facing dog from a standing posture. Feel free to stay here if you wish. If you want to do Warrior 3, pick up your right straight leg, stick it straight out behind you at hip height. Don't let your right hip roll to the right. Keep it facing the floor and breathing. We want to be shooting energy forward through our arms and backwards through our leg. And breathing. Now you can stay as long as you wish, but if you're ready to come out of it, simply put your right foot on the floor and walk forward. And presto changeo, we're vertical. Take a breath. Okay, we're going to do the other side, of course, unless, of course, you want to take a breather. Take a break if you wish. Otherwise, let's walk backwards. We wiggle our feet a bit. And now you can, once again, either stay here or lift your left leg straight out behind you, hip high. Don't let your left hip roll to the left. Keep it facing the floor and breathing. Stay as long as you like, but if you're ready to come out of it, put your foot on the floor and walk forward, returning to vertical. Good. Give everything a nice loosening wiggle. Take a breath. Good. Let's put aside our chair. We're going to do our inversion. We want to get our heads below our hearts. So we're going to put our feet right back into Tadasana. Our goal is to bend forward and just hang. But we want to go down with a nice flat back, which is less stressful. So let's inhale up. Stretch forward and then relax your back and hang. Breathe encouragement into all the muscles that are stretching. Check in with the top of your head. If it's not pointed at the floor, ask your neck to relax. Next, think they have to work at all times, even when there's no work to be done. Stretch to the right, take hold of whatever you find over there. It might be toes or ankles or calves or knees or thighs, doesn't really matter. Just get a good grip and keep breathing. Come back to center, twist to the left, take hold of whatever's over there, and keep breathing. When you're ready, come back to center, put your hands on your thighs, come up to a flat back, and stand up. Give everything a loosening wiggle. Shake out your legs, take a deep breath. Very nice. Alrighty, so let me think, what would we like to do? I had something, then I just blanked it out. Let's do the eagle. We haven't done anything for our shoulders today. Let's do that. So just let your arms swing gently. Now, keep in mind that if you have trouble bringing your palms together, it's best to put your hands on the opposite shoulder. Otherwise, it's one elbow under the other. Wrap your lower arms around each other until they come together. Breathe into the stretch across the back of your shoulders and gently lift your elbows any amount. Notice how that changes the way your shoulders feel. Breathe into it. And then you can push your hands away from your face. That also changes the way your shoulders feel. See if you can help your shoulders relax. When you're ready, lower your elbows, unwrap, and let them swing. Now, it's the other elbow on top. When you're ready, lift your elbows. Breathe into the stretch. And then push your hands away from your face. Already try your hands on your opposite shoulder. Yeah, that's it. The other hand on the other shoulder. Good, that's it. When you're ready, lower your arms, let them unpretzel and swing. Take a breath. That's good stuff. All righty. Let's do another side stretch. Last time we did the side stretch where we kept our hips lined up over our feet. Your feet are back in Tadasana. But this time we're going to do the other one. As we lean to the left, we're going to slide our hips to the right. So it looks like this. My left arm travels down my leg. My right arm goes for the ceiling. And now as I lean to the left, my hips are sliding to the right. And I'm breathing. I'm looking at the wall, not the floor. And I can feel a huge stretch up and down my right side. When you're ready, return to vertical with your hips over your feet. Good. Give everything a nice loosening up. Take a breath. Good. All righty. We're going to put our feet back where they belong. All right. So this time, my right hand travels down my leg. My left arm comes up My hips are sliding to the left as I reach to the right. Once again, I'm looking at the wall and breathing. When you're ready, come back to vertical. Very good. I think it's time for the chair. So we're going to bring back our handy dandy safety equipment, but we are not going to touch it. Once again, I'm careful to keep all 4 feet on the mat, but if all goes well, I won't touch the chair. So put your feet back into Tadasana. Cautionary note, some people bring their knees together when they bend them. Keep your knees lined up over your ankles as you bend them. Put your hands on your hips, bend your knees and sink. Stick your butt out so you have a nice flat back and breathe. This is called the chair. Stay as long as you like, but if you're ready, stand up, wiggle. Good. All right, so we're going to do it again. If you would like an additional challenge, we're going to raise our arms over our heads. Otherwise, keep them on your hips and sink. Breathing. Stay as long as you like, but when you're ready, stand up. Take a breath, give everything loosening wiggle, take a breath again. Very nice, very nice. Okay. So we're going to do a little balance walking. So I'm standing at the foot of my mat, and I'm going to walk to the other end of my mat, putting my heel directly in front of my toe like this. When you have gotten as far as you're going to go, you have a choice. You can turn around and head for the other end, or you can do the whole thing backwards. Good. All righty. So now lay out a little circle for yourself, 3 or 4 feet in diameter. Why don't you come forward? Lay your circle out here, and that'll make more space. Yes, turn to your right, turn and walk around your little circle, taking the largest steps you can comfortably take. When you get back to your starting position, do the same thing backwards. When you get back to the starting position, turn around 180, walk forward around your little circle. When you get to your starting position, do the same thing backwards. Excellent. Well done. All righty. So let's see, what else would we like to do? Let's do a couple of push-ups. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our chair back, put all 4 feet on this. Now, there are a couple of things that you can do with this. If you want to, you simply walk backwards a little bit, and then don't let your elbows go to the side. Keep them close to you. Come a little bit closer to your chair, and then push yourself away from your chair. Come a little bit closer to your chair. There's a chair right over there. Now, if you have your wrists say this is a stupid idea, come down onto your forearms and you can still do it. As much or as little work as you want is heavily dependent on how far back your feet are. So if you want a little bit more effort in this, walk your feet a little bit farther behind you. And just repeat this very, very slowly. There's no rush. And then walk up to the chair and we'll cast our chairs aside. And we're going to make a giant figure 8 on its side. Your feet are wherever you want them to be. Let your other arm take over the job. Stop and go backwards. And we want the dominant arm to come back again. Stop and go backwards because I forgot to do it the first time around. Oh, well. Now let's have both arms do it together. Stop and go backwards. And when you're done, you're done. Take a nice deep breath. Give everything a little loosening up because we've reached the end of the first half hour and we're about to get down on our floor. So if you're not inclined to get down on the floor, I wish you a great week. Bundle up if you go outside because it's chilly. Namaste. All right, floor yogis, let's get down on the floor. So we're going to be in tabletop, the classic pose where our hands are underneath our shoulders and our knees are underneath our hips. Surprisingly enough, they're hip width apart. Okay, so keep your elbows nice and straight. Let's do a few cat and cow stretches. Head down, belly up, exhaling. Belly down, head up, inhaling. And go back and forth. Notice how different this feels from the version that we did when we were sitting. Then come back to neutral, head and hips to the right, neutral, head and hips to the left, neutral, to the right, neutral, and to the left, neutral. All right, we're going to do the cross body crunches. Stick your right arm straight out in front of you at the same time, left leg, bring elbow to knee, stretch out, down. This time, left arm, right leg, stretch, elbow to knee, stretch, and down. And you go back and forth. Enough of that. Okay. Just sit back on your heels for a second, take a breath, let that settle. Today, as our major strength move, we're going to do the plank. Now you can do the plank from either your hands or your forearms. If you have wrist issues, your hands will not like doing it from your hands. So you just come right down onto your forearms. You can have your palms flat on the floor. You can put your palms together in prayer position. You can interlace your hands. It doesn't matter. But you have that resource available to you as you wish. However, for those of you who don't have wrist issues, what we're going to do is don't hang from your shoulders. Push the floor away. Send one leg back with the toes curled under. The other foot goes back to match. Drop your hips a little bit, pick up your head. There we are. And breathe. Stay as long as you like. When you're ready to come out of it, touch your knees down, big toes together, knees slightly separated, and go into child pose with your forehead on the floor, or roll over onto your back, pull your knees up onto your chest and give them a hug. When you get into your resting posture, take a couple of nice deep breaths and let that work and effort go. Okay, so let's sit on the floor with our knees drawn up and our feet flat on the floor. Okay, so pull your abs in, extend your arms left and right, turn one palm up and look at it, turn the other one up, look at that one, and go back and forth. Make sure you're pulling your abs in. Good. Bring your hands back, lean forward, let your abs relax, take a breath. Good. All righty. So this time we're going to pull our abs in, roll backwards till our arms are straight, and take your hands off your knees. Your feet are still on the floor and you're breathing. Look down at your abs and make sure that it's not popping up. Many abs want to pop up. Don't worry, you just have to be conscious about it. Lean forward, let your abs go slack, take a breath. All righty, now we're going to find our balance point. So once again, pull your abs in, go backwards, take your hands off your knees, lift your lower legs so that they're parallel to the floor, and find your balance point and breathe. Good. Put your feet down, lean forward, let everybody relax, take a breath. Now, of course, I'm about to do the crunches, and I think I'm going to do crossbody crunches today for variety's sake, which means I'm going to put my hands back here, and I'm going to try to get my knees into the neighborhood of my elbows. They won't touch. Anyway, if you don't want to do that, you can do one of the other ab things that we do. Dawn is demonstrating one of them now. All right, here we go. Oh, they do touch. Son of a gun. Keep that up as long as you want to. When you're done, lean forward, let everything go slack, take a breath. And now our reward. Lay down and stretch. Release that just the right. Relax just the left. Back to the right. And the left. Lovely. All right, let's bring our knees up onto our chest. Give them a hug. Take a breath. Then bring your hands down to the mat and keeping your legs together, draw a circle on the ceiling using your knees. Reverse it. All right, put your feet on the floor. Now bring the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to open and head for the floor. If you want to make more of a challenge, bring your feet closer to your body. If you want less stress in your groin, push your feet away. Bring your arms up into the space above your chest, interlace your hands, and draw circles and figure eights on the ceiling, keeping your arms nice and straight. And you'll be massaging the middle of your back against the floor, while the cobbler pose is giving you a terrific hip opener. When you've had enough of this, reverse your palms to the ceiling and stretch up. Release your hands, let them come down to your side. Close your knees together. Take a deep breath. Now, bring your right foot up. Put your right hand into the instep of your right foot. Bring your left foot up. Put your left hand in the instep of your left foot. Put your feet firmly on the ceiling, pulling your knees into your armpits. This is Happy Baby. You can play with your feet, sending them close together or wide apart. Notice how that changes the way your hips feel. When your feet are close together, it feels very familiar. When you push them far apart, it feels very unusual. But that's a good thing. It's a wonderful hip opener. When you've had enough of this, simply release your feet and allow them to come down to the mat. All righty, let's stretch our legs out flat. Put your arms in the T position, palms up, left and right out of your shoulders. Pick up your right bent knee, roll it across your body to the left. Keep your right shoulder on the floor and roll your head to the right. This is the knee down twist. If your right toes are nowhere near the floor, you can rest them on a cushion or whatever, and that will help your lower back release a bit. The other thing you can do to help settle into the posture is to take your right hand in an arc across the ceiling or across the carpet on over your head to touch your left palm twice. Now take a nice deep breath to help you settle into the posture. Some people like to put their left hand on their right knee. That helps encourage it closer to the floor, and it encourages a bigger stretch in your lower back. Breathe into it. No part of your body is working. You should be melting into the floor. Now you can stay as long as you like, but if you're ready to come out of it, make sure both hands are on the floor, roll your head to center, roll onto your back, and get yourself back into good alignment. Straighten out your clothes. Now, pick up your left bent knee, roll it across your body to the right. Keep your left shoulder on the floor. Roll your head to the left. And there we are. But again, if you wish, you can take your left hand in an arc across the ceiling or above your head on the carpet to touch your right palm twice. This loosens you up, and now you can settle into the posture. Perhaps you will put your right hand on your left knee and breathe into it. Just as we cruise through our body looking for muscles when we're in deep relaxation that might be working when they're supposed to be resting, we can do that now. Any muscles that are working should be encouraged to relax and let go. When you're ready to come out of it, make sure both hands are on the floor, roll your head to center, roll onto your back, and get yourself back into good alignment. Pull your knees up onto your chest, give them a hug, and feel your back as it reorganizes itself into its usual configuration. All righty. Roll to one side, come up to a seated position. So I'm sitting in the middle of my mat and I've got mat on both sides of me. So now I'm going to turn to my left. I'm going to come right down onto my elbow, bend my knees, and then come down to my other elbow. Now I want to open both palms. I'm opening my elbows wide apart, resting on my open palms. This is yet another twisting position. And see if you can release your shoulders sufficiently so that you can get your nose down to the floor. It's going to be easier on the left than on the right, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. Keep breathing. When you're ready to come out of it, simply begin to move your elbows closer to each other and then come back up. Good. So bring your feet around to your left, because this time we're going to the right. Come down onto your right elbow and your left elbow. Open your palms. Once again, we want our elbows as far apart as possible and our chest as close to the floor as possible. And if you can get your nose to touch the floor, good for you. So to come out of it, once again, you bring your elbows closer together and walk your palms close to you till you can sit up. Because now it's time for deep relaxation. So if you have socks, sweaters, cushions, pillows, blankets, anything you need to stay warm and comfortable while we're resting, now is the time to put it on. Because we're about to arrange ourselves on the floor in the world's most comfortable position. And of course, you are the sole arbiter of what that means for your body. You can choose the classic corpse pose if you wish, or laying on your side in the fetal position, or any variation that works for you. When you have arrived in your position, be sure to close your eyes. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. See if your body will melt into gravity's pull. Because it's time to ask ourselves the question that we asked ourselves at the beginning. How are we doing? How are we feeling? Start by asking it as a physical question. Checking in with various systems, joints, muscles, tendons, etc. Move on to your mood. your emotional health and well-being, and then your spiritual health and well-being. Each action, each part of your health and well-being is intimately connected with the others. Our physical well-being interacts with our mental and emotional well-being, which impacts our physical well-being, all of which is impacted by our spiritual well-being, and vice versa. In fact, trying to separate them is rather arbitrary and artificial. But many of us tend to ignore one or more aspects of our health and well-being. So this is an opportunity to practice unifying them. Because of course, yoga means to unify. And we want our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being to be actively before our mind and available to us at all times. So now it's time to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, make any motions that will feel good before we roll to one side to come up to a seated position. Once we get there, we'll sit up nice and tall with our hands in prayer position, close our eyes, lower our chins, and give thanks for this day. Lifting our heads and opening our eyes, we can look at one another and say, Namaste, 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 Namaste. I hope you all have a wonderful week. It will get warm again. Take care.